listening to Sports Radio Detroit.
Welcome to Grave Discussions. I am one part of your ghoulish podcast team, Barnabas.
And I am your ugly co-host, Samael.
You're not that ugly.
Thanks, Barnabas.
I mean a little bit, but that's okay.
Well, eat a dick.
No, I don't want to do that.
So today we had some fun watching a pretty decent movie. This is what we're going to talk about for the main part of this. It's about The Strangers 2, Pray at Night.
Yep, we're going to do a full review of The Strangers, Pray at Night, just like we did for Winchester. So there'll be spoilers.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. But we're going to go deep into the movie. Deep into it.
Like balls deep into the movie.
Balls deep into The Strangers, Pray at Night. And then we've got our usual suspect segments also lined up for you. We're going to talk about some really cool, really interesting movies. So first of all is our terrifying trailer of the week.
Dun, dun, dun.
So this episode's terrifying trailer is going to be about a brand new movie coming out in April called Ghost Stories.
Yep.
So Ghost Stories is a new anthology movie, which you and I are huge fans of anthology
Trick
films.
or Treat,
Yep.
Creep Show.
Yep.
It would count.
I
think the original It would count.
So I mean, it is one main story, though, but I kind of get it. Because it's like, the kids and then the adults. But, those are great. Recently, I've liked XX. I don't think you've seen that, but it's an all-female-driven horror anthology. It was pretty interesting.
What's that about?
Well, there are a couple of stories. One's got, like, a demon. It's freaky. The other is
this on Netflix?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm about to watch it.
Yeah. It was good. And I liked... what was another one? Holidays.
Is that the one in the little description it said... different horror stories, but from the female's perspective.
I think so.
There we go. Yeah, okay, yeah. I was gonna get around.
So that's on Netflix. If you like horror anthology films, you should check that out. What else is there? Holidays. I liked that one. Then of course, Tales from the Dark Side.
Yeah, Tales from the
movie.
Dark Side.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
So this is a brand new horror anthology.
Tales from the Crypt too, I believe.
Yeah. Well, they did some movies, but they weren't like individual stories. But obviously, the show was like an anthology show.
Yeah, those are the best.
Yes,
we need to bring those back.
Yeah, they were supposed to be making Tales from the Crypt again, but I don't know what's going on. I think it's like in limbo or something. They need to make
Creep Show. They need to make Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah.
They need to make Tales from the Dark Side. Hey, if you guys need help, we're here.
Yeah.
I mean, I can fucking act. Barnabas can direct. Barnabas can do everything. All right. So me and him, we could help you guys, man.
Yeah.
Let me just get on that set.
I've done short films already, so like I can help you out, So today's trailer is going to be for Ghost Stories. I actually learned about this movie from an article. It was a featured article in the new Rue Morgue magazine, which I just kind of started reading. It's pretty good. So the article kind of has a little bit about the film, and then there's an interview with both of the writers of the film.
Interesting.
And it's based off of it's created in the UK. It's actually like a stage play, but it's done as a horror anthology. Like how fucking crazy is that?
Dope. That's dope. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, they got like there's like a guy that comes out and like tells you about the stories and stuff. So it's cool. I don't know. I wish I had seen it. But yeah, they're bringing it to the UK and to the US as a new film. Yep. April 20th, it's coming out in the US.
Oh, on that day, huh?
Yeah, on that day.
On that day.
So it's soon though.
It's my day off.
Yes. So we're gonna watch the trailer as always. If you guys would like to watch it with us instead of just listening to it like a bunch of nerds, then you can open up the video and you can watch it with us. Nerds. All right, here we go. About to watch Ghost Stories trailer. It's just on YouTube. This is the Ghost Story. It's the first one from One Media.
Yep, with Martin Freeman.
Yep.
310,000 views. Let's see.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Professor Philip Goodman. My job is to explain the unexplainable, untangle the truth from the fiction. You don't have to have your life ruled by superstitious fear. Everything you have spent a lifetime trying to debunk the supernatural, it's all true. 3 cases I couldn't explain. You go and investigate if you did. Things are not always as they seem. Tell me about your incident.
All
right, this looks fucking good, man.
Yeah. I like this. Actually, I think that the guy, Philip Goodman, is possibly a new character actually for the movie to kind of serve as like the gap between the stories, you know, because they do that a lot. Like Tales from the Dark Side did it with the kid who's going to get like roasted and eaten by that chick, and he was telling her stories.
Yes. Okay, now I remember. It's all, I haven't seen it since like 2nd grade. I got to do a refresh because I loved really this shit growing up. And then I just like never had a chance to go back because I couldn't find these movies anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, now we got Comcast. Like, you could buy a lot of these movies if you go on Comcast. Like, they're like $3-4 a piece to like rent, and you could own the actual thing for $10, and they'll always be on your DVR. That's what I like nowadays. Like, everything's easily accessible. That's why like when I go back and I watch these movies, I watched back in like '99 when I was like 7 years, 6. That's I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 5 years old. Yeah, that's when I was watching all this stuff.
Yeah, that movie is pretty cheap now because it's old. It's from like the 80s.
I remember I used to go to King Video, this video store in our city. When it started closing down, and that's when I just started grabbing a whole bunch of horror movies over there. They had like 3 for $10, and then you get one free. Man, I would get my paychecks. I was working at the mall at the time selling cologne. Yeah. I would go there, and I would ball out on horror movie DVDs.
Yeah. No, yeah, you should watch that again soon because it's really good. But anyway, you know, so I like that they put this new character in, and it actually kind of is like him. He's like going out to check out these cases, you know, like I don't know. I think that's just a cool like premise.
Yeah, it looks dope because like he's a skeptic, you know, and there's always that cocky skeptic in all these horror movies. There's no such thing as the supernatural. Yeah, you know, like on Devil Inside, like when there's like, oh, I'm skeptical. Yeah. Well, not everything can be explained by psychology. Yada yada. Right. And so this movie's about to show like this guy's about to go on a first-hand experience into hell. It seems, and he's very skeptical. And 37 seconds into the trailer, and he looks shook.
Yeah. Let's continue.
Because I know what I saw. No. Do you believe in evil, Professor? I didn't. Until that night. Real?
All right, so we've already seen 2 of the main characters for 2 of the stories. So one is, let me find his name. It's the guy from the End of the Fucking World, which is on Netflix. Which is it's like only like a 6-episode show. It's about this kid who thinks he's a psychopath. Mm-hmm. So he tries to find somebody to be his first kill. That's kind of the story, but then he meets this girl who's also like a weirdo, and he thinks he's gonna kill her, and then they kind of like end up going on this like adventure, like running away, and then you know stuff unfolds. But it's the guy from there. He was really good at being like a creepy psychopath. So it's got him. I'll find his name, but then we also saw Martin Freeman, who is a huge star, and actually there was a kind of a cool. In the article I read about Ghost Stories in the new Rue Morgue magazine, they were actually talking about casting Martin Freeman, and they had like some like international stars in mind because they had to secure the funding for the movie. So they're like, we have to get somebody big, and they actually really wanted Martin Freeman. I think he was maybe like one of their first choices, or like their first choice, and they just like sent the script to his agent, and apparently he loved it.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and he got cast. Yeah, you never know. I mean, yeah, you got to shoot your shot, you know. So they did that, and they got Martin Freeman. So yeah, this movie could be huge when you've got, you know, the Hobbit basically.
Yeah.
So the kid from End of the Fucking World's name is Alex Lothar. So he's one of the guys. So I don't know. I mean, they've got star power. Like people who have watched that show, which is still brand new, you know, they're probably going to want to go see it. Fans of like The Hobbit and stuff probably want to go see it. So let's continue.
Signs.
Are you still there?
The spirit. I understand how easy it is to get confused.
See that? It's so fucking creepy.
Into your head, like, everything is exactly as it seems. You don't know everything.
Yeah. We've only got a little bit left. I don't know. I think it looks solid so far.
Yeah, it looks like one of those probably not gonna have many jump scares, but freak you the fuck out.
Yeah.
It's gonna be psychological. It's gonna be like,
Yeah, and honestly, I really like British horror.
yeah, British horror is sick. Any foreign horror period, because like Americans think some fucked up shit, but then you go over to Europe and like, damn, you guys are fucked up. Like,
But honestly, a lot of British horror is kind of comedic, which yeah, I think this one might be a little bit too. At least with Martin Freeman, because he's actually a pretty funny guy. So we'll see if it kind of leans more toward, you know, being true horror, which it looks like it might be, or like being kind of comedy, which I'm all for horror comedy. So let's finish up the trailer and then we'll give our final thoughts and move on.
Wait, I don't like it. The brain sees what it wants to see.
so he's still skeptical, even though he saw all that shit. The brain sees what it wants to see. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I think it looks pretty promising.
I like the technical aspect of it. I like the way they
Yeah.
took those shots,
Yeah.
like at the sides of the houses and everything. It doesn't seem like a modern horror movie,
Yeah.
at least for American standards. Not any disrespect, this is a huge compliment. Like, this does not look like your typical 2018 movie that's been coming out. Like,
Yeah,
this
I
looks
agree.
different. This looks different. This looks like it's actual horror that didn't look like jump scares. That just looked like in-depth psychological horror. Like,
Yeah, I think honestly, I think it's probably going to be scarier than the trailer lets on, because
yeah,
the trailer didn't really reveal like a lot, honestly. So I hope it is.
had a bunch of creepy shots. I hope they have more of those shots.
Yeah, me too. So, no,
Seriously.
it looked like it had good cinematography. So, yeah, Ghost Stories, a new horror anthology that is coming out April the 20th. In the U.S. I don't know if that's listed, but that's what I read in the article. So watch for April 20th for that one.
And we'll be sure to talk about it.
Yeah, I really want to go see it.
That looked... Man, I just want to watch it now. Just turn off the lights and just watch that, bro. That looked great.
Yeah, I like that. It looks like the professor guy is actually going to be in a lot of the movie instead of just kind of bridging the gap.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah, that looks cool. So we're going to move on to the Cult Corner.
Bum, bum, bum.
So for today's Cult Corner, we're actually going to do something a little bit different. We're still going to make a recommendation for a cult horror film, but we're actually going to do one apiece.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be one that I've seen that I really liked, but Sam hasn't seen yet, and then Sam's going to recommend one that I haven't seen yet. But they're both cult classics.
Yep, I told Barnabas about this one, and I'm sure you've all heard of mine. But Barnabas, you go first.
Okay, so mine is actually for the Japanese J-horror film Pulse. And I just actually watched this the other day. I just gave in and I bought the Arrow re-release for it, so it looks beautiful. But it's actually it's a really like creepy ghost movie, bro. It's really.
I don't know.
creepy.
I'm not. See, I like movies with like spirits and stuff.
Yeah.
But you know me, more on the demonic side rather than like the ghost side. What
Yeah.
would you?
Yeah, I don't know if it's that much on the demonic side. Although I don't know, there's a pretty cool like
As long as
twist
there's
in it.
malevolent ghosts, you know, like.
Well, that's the thing. Like, they're not even. I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's just like weird. They are malevolent because basically, so the story kind of revolves around this group of people, who work at like. Actually, there's kind of two stories going on at the same time, and then they connect. Which I like those kind of movies, because at first you're not sure like what's the connection, but it's pretty like easy to see. There's two different stories, but obviously they're related. But essentially, people that they know like start going missing, and when they like go look for them, the only things that they see is this like weird like black spot on the wall.
That's odd.
Right? It is odd.
It's kind of like on Veronica, those black spots on the mattresses.
Yeah, kind of. But so people start disappearing, and like that's all they leave. And then as they kind of and one other thing, because it's called Pulse, it's actually all about like technology, kind of, which is interesting, right?
Oh, yeah.
So the main characters. Well, one of the main characters, he like just gets the internet. It's 2001, so they still have like those big ass computers, and there's like dial up and shit. You know, like
Yeah, where the AOL is just screaming
Yeah.
at you, like, please kill me.
that's what the noise actually was in the movie. And so he's just like connecting to the internet, and then he connects to this one website. It's like this weird ass website, and all it says is, "Would you like to meet a ghost?" And then
That sounds dope.
the only images that you see are like they're like seemingly random people just like being filmed, like almost like voyeur style. They're just doing like random shit, or like sometimes they loop. And there's this one of this dude that is like walking across his kitchen, and as it loops, like every time you just see him disappearing in and out.
Oh, shit.
It's crazy. But this guy starts seeing this shit, and he starts having questions, and then this other group of people, like their friends, start disappearing.
And this is, you said, the original Japanese
This is the original one. Yeah, there's been like a remake and like two other sequels or
There's been an
something.
American version, right?
Yeah, there's been a remake.
I've never seen it. How was that one?
I don't know if I've seen it actually, but I don't think it was very good. I don't really remember. They usually never are.
When did it come out? Do you remember?
The
Was it
remake?
recent? Yeah.
Like 2006, I think.
Oh, man, then it was probably
Yeah.
crap. That's...
Yeah, that was a bad year for horror remakes.
Man, like... Friday the 13th had their remake that year as well, I think.
Did they? I don't know. It
06.
might have been a little later.
I think it was either 06 or 08. I'm not sure, but...
Yeah, I don't know. It was probably around then. 'Cause it's
That
like
one
pretty
was
old
good.
now. Friday the 13th?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, I like that.
It was solid. But Pulse was released in 2001, so it's still got all that like shit that you would think is like old now. But yeah, I mean that's kind of like what the story is about, and it's just weird.
They
Like,
have beepers and shit.
yeah, well, they got like fucking like the like the landlines and shit.
Like the mobile phone that gives you cancer if you use it for more than 3 days.
No, it's just
in a row.
it's just
They
like
have
all
like-
flip phones. But dude, there's some like crazy shots. It's shot really like in an interesting way. I think you would like it. There's this one scene in particular. I don't want to spoil it, but it's really good. But yeah, it's just really creepy, and like the ghosts, like when they show up, it's not like jump scares. It's like that shit like in the back, like you just see.
See, that's the best. That's what
Yeah.
that's what it's missing nowadays, because nowadays they'll have those shots in these like regular paranormal movies,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden like you're just waiting for the jump scare.
Yeah.
Like-
Yeah, it wasn't really jump scary like at all, which I really liked because it just gave you like this intense feeling of dread, honestly.
that,
It was
like we talk about always, atmosphere is important,
yeah.
and a lot of directors neglect that.
Yeah.
Like they've like failed to realize their roots and the roots of the horror culture. Like they don't look back on movies that were big hits and like, yo, how can I use what these guys did but apply it my own way to my own movie? No one does that anymore. I think everyone in the movie business is kind of egotistical. It's like, let me shoot my movie. I got a masterpiece. And then when it bombs at the box office, they're like, well, fuck critics. Me. Yeah, see, right now I'm looking at one of the shots from the movie. See, this is what's missing. Like look at
Like
this
framing, like and then the setting, like that's
It looks like it was set up with a home camera, and
Yeah.
like the spirit was captured, like right there. See,
yeah.
that's what's missing nowadays. And there's too much CGI in movies nowadays. What happened to painting a person black? Stand against his door for 4 seconds.
Yeah.
We're gonna give some camera effects, like some really cheap Photoshop effects that are just, bro, it looks real because it's like really simple. You know, you don't have these things like appearing in and out of frame and just like boo, you know, and then you just jump at the movie theater and you're like, I'm a fucking asshole for jumping at that fucking shitty ass sequence. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch this.
I'm telling you, it was really good. So if you've seen like,
I've seen a lot of Japanese.
if you've seen like Ringu and
I've seen
Ju-on
Ju-on.
and
I've
stuff,
seen Ju-on. I have
Yeah.
Ju-on and Ju-on too. I like both of them. They scared the shit out of me, man.
This one's gonna maybe not scare the shit out of you as much as like leave you feeling like, honestly, like a little depressed.
Really?
Yeah, I
Oh,
swear.
I love those movies.
It was good.
Better to feel something after watching a movie than just forgetting it. Like
that's like the
next
whole
day.
point of horror is to make you like react.
That shit
your
stay with you,
emotions,
too.
you know? Yeah, exactly.
I want that shit to stay with me for a week. Veronica stayed with me.
Yeah, for me too. So I think this is like one of the lesser known like J horror movies. So check out Pulse. You'll be doing yourself a favor if you like these kind. I mean it's like just based on its nature, like it's a little slower, but honestly I think it was really good. So I know now you've got one.
Oh, my pick for today, I believe it's a 1981 slasher. Whatever, you could call it a bootleg Michael Myers movie. It got a pretty bad rating on IMDb, and like I said, I don't care what people think. Final Exam is my movie. Alright, let me tell you why I like this. One, it's just killing for no reason. It's cheesy. Like, there's just a killer going around, and there's these kids at college, they're having fun, they're hazing this guy, they tied him to a tree and left him there overnight. Killer lets him go, kills him, and then he starts going after people one by one. And like somehow they just always, like someone always runs into him. He's just this big menacing figure. Like he's just a grown man. You see his, like he has like kind of like a long bowl cut. He looks like a escaped mental patient, but he's just wearing your typical like denim, and you know, he's just killing people. Like that's why it was great. Like I liked the shots. I liked the technical aspect of it, like the cinematography, like the way they shot this movie. Like, you felt good watching it. You're like, it seems to be fun to grow up back in 1981, but not at this school where people are getting butchered left and right. So I love the feel of the movie. I like the way the people talk in the movie, like, well, gee whiz, you know, like that type of stuff. There's the nerdy guy.
Yeah.
There's the nerdy girl. There's the popular girl. There's the jocks. There's everything in this movie. Everything that's super 80s about this movie.
Probably the kills are like really good too, right? Because the 80s, like that was the main thing.
Yeah, there wasn't too much gore in this movie though. Like someone would just be walking, and then he would pull him behind like the door, like you know, like where he pulled him in from. Like let's say he was hiding behind a wall, and he pulled someone in, and that was just the end of the scene. You don't have to rely on blood and gore. People could call this movie crap, but this is a cult classic. Like, this was after Michael Myers came out. People watched the trailer, and they're like, yo, is this like another like Michael Myers type movie? And then people had to go watch it. It's basically a Halloween ripoff set at a college campus, where it's a really slow-paced movie. Like, people get killed, like, I think right off the bat, but then you go through one normal college day where the jocks, they planned this fake terrorist attack, so they hopped out and they like pretended to shoot people.
Bro.
And like they took the people away.
What the fuck?
Yeah, listen. And then they just drove away, and then the police came, and like the nerd snitched. He's like, oh, I think that was so-and-so's car, you know? Like,
Bro, dudes in the 1980s, like,
they didn't give a fuck.
they were savage.
They were savage. Nowadays no one will do that because everyone will catch you on that iPhone.
I mean, not that I'd say like I like it or I would do it, but nowadays if like high school or college kids, you know, like pranked like a terrorist threat, bro, they would die.
Yeah, like you would be...
People would be calling SWAT.
Bro, they'll send you to Guantanamo Bay. What the fuck? Like, you don't fuck with that shit. Don't do that dumb shit. This is just a movie. But maybe back in the day, I mean, I guess you could get away with shit like that. Shit wasn't as serious. Like
the bullies were like really bad.
the bullies were fucking horrible, bro. Like, props to anyone who could endure 1980s bullies.
Yeah.
You guys are the fucking dogs. Top dogs.
1981 bullies are like now they'd be like, you know, hey, you want to, you know, give him a wedgie. 1981 it was like, hey, look at Billy, you want to chop his mom's head off and stick it in the toilet. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, bro, they would like kidnap your cat, kill it, and leave it on your porch. Like, bro, that's horrific, but
like, that'll show him what a nerd.
Right? Like, people were sick.
Like, Jesus, bro, he just killed his cat.
So they faked this like whole terrorist thing, and then people start, you know, there's another call. I think they make another call, and it was like a false alarm again. Sheriff's getting pissed. He's like, you keep calling me fucking down here, derper, 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 and he's all mad and stuff. And then the killer starts killing people. I think he starts off, if I remember correctly, with the jock. The jock was trying to get some pills because they were, like, in the movie, they were selling, like, amphetamine so the kids could stay up. Like, they were selling Adderall and stuff, I guess. If they had Adderall in the 80s, I don't know, maybe Concerta. I don't know what the hell they gave people in the 80s, but they stole a bunch of pills from, like, the coach, you know, like the jocks, and they were, like, selling them and stuff. But, like, as this guy's going to get the pills, the killer shows up and, like, without the knife, like, he had the knife, but he just beat the shit out of the jock. Like, the jock tried to fight back, but this guy beats the shit out of him, like, starts hanging him with, like, the weightlifting equipment, stabs him, I think. I'm not sure exactly how it went, but all I remember was I really liked this movie because, like, it's slow paced, so you get to see, like, a day in the 1980s.
Yeah.
And then shit just goes south. I like this one sequence, like, this guy was going back to this, the nerdy guy was going back to the nerdy chick's room to go check on her. And then I think the killer just broke the door and stabbed him. Like, it was great. Like, it happened all at once. And then at the end of the movie, one of the professors, I think, or the dean comes with a bow and with a crossbow.
What the fuck?
And he shoots a crossbow at the killer, and the killer catches it and stabs him with it.
Yo.
So they're up in this, like, apartment building apartment complex, or the dorms, whatever. They're all the way at the top, and, like, he's having a struggle with this girl, that virgin girl, and obviously she's the final girl. And she's a virgin, so you know what's gonna happen. Nerdy girl always survives. So he topples like 10 stories down. He hits the floor, right? So she's holding the knife, and then the end of the movie is just he moved a muscle, and then she just started stabbing the shit out of him. So it's a good movie. The cinematography is great. I like that 1980s technical shooting, like the way they do it. Like, I like the setting, the 1980s, you know?
Yeah.
Every the vocab was different, you know, not everybody was like, you know, just trying to act tough, and they had their own, like, you know, jerk was still an insult back then. Like, you jerk, and then people would be like, how dare you? What the freak, dude? Like, not like to that extent.
Yeah.
But, like, it was great, man. It was, like, totally 1980s. It had the maniac on the loose. People were getting butchered, and the final girl.
Yeah.
Like, what else do you want? Might have been a Halloween ripoff, but it was a good Halloween ripoff. In another episode, we'll probably cover some bad Halloween ripoffs and some good ones, because the 1980s was just strewed with ripoffs. After 1978, and then after Halloween was released by John Carpenter, we've seen so many copycats.
Yeah.
But, you know, Halloween, like they say, was inspired by Black Christmas. So in turn, thank you, Black Christmas.
Thanks.
Who's that? Bob Clark, I think, directed that movie.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
I think it was Bob Clark. Yeah, Bob Clark.
Yep, looks like that it was Bob Clark. So.
All right, so yeah, this in turn inspired Halloween, but Halloween, the main character Michael was an actual person that John Carpenter saw in real life, and that kind of inspired him to make it. Like, yo, what if this guy broke out?
Oh, really? I didn't actually know that was like.
Yeah, it's like it's like off a real person. Like, this crazy person I think he saw at a mental hospital one time.
Oh, wow.
And he just like, dang, what if he just, and then his imagination just took him. So yeah, the Halloween gave birth to a lot of ripoffs and gave birth to Final Exam, but I give Final Exam 2 horns up. So if you can get your hands on Final Exam from 1981, just grab some extra butter popcorn. We all love our cholesterol. Wait for Friday to approach. Turn off the lights, kick back in your room with the missus, and watch it. She might think it's corny because, you know, but you're a horror guy, all right? You don't care. You admire this movie.
Or you're a horror girl and you may have a mister, or you're a mister with a mister, whatever.
Yeah, I mean both things when I say one thing. I mean, I show it from my perspective, you know, like, just like me. Like, I would do this with my missus. So
you're
like,
kind of a nice person. It's
thanks,
okay.
Barnabas.
All right, so those are our recommendations. I'm gonna try to watch Final Exam as soon as I can, and hopefully you can watch Pulse, and then we'll see. Maybe next episode we can see.
We can recap, and then we
can like have seen.
You know what we'll do?
movies.
I got an idea. We'll put these on the chopping block next week, and we'll each do our own chopping block of these movies.
I think that's a good idea. Yeah. That sounds good. Does that sound good?
I think that sounds good. I literally just came up with this right now. We weren't planning this.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea.
So yeah, I'm going to watch Pulse. Barnabas is going to watch Final Exam. And then we are going to decide whether we liked it or not. But judging by what Bart tells me about Pulse, and I usually take his movie recommendations, and he never lets me down. So I'm going to take a look at Pulse. I believe you. That is good.
All right, cool. So we're going to move on to our main segment of the episode right now. We're going to do a full review of The Strangers Pray at Night.
Spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alerts. ahead.
Leave us alone! But we've just started. Think we're alone now.
Bum, bum, bum.
So, The Strangers Pray at Night, we're going to do a full review here. We actually just got back from seeing it like a few hours ago.
Yep.
So, what was your impression, like first impression as the credits were rolling at the end?
As the credits were rolling at the end, I was like, Like, that's just kind of how I felt, but that's not how I felt about the movie. That's just how I felt about the ending.
Yeah.
After, like, I didn't take it all in until we, like, drove back, and then I was like, you know, there are a lot of things I didn't like about this movie, but there are a lot of things I did like.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, this wasn't one of those hopeless movies where all the main characters just get butchered or...
Supposedly. With the end, but, you know, probably not.
The ending, we'll talk about the ending later, but a few things we gotta point out in this movie that kind of were like, oh, no, like, I think, So Barnabas was talking about it earlier, so... There was one scene where the son and the daughter, I don't know names, I don't care. To me, they're just son and daughter. Like I won't care much to remember them after this. No offense, but it's not like a classic movie. But anyways, what were they? What was the names?
Luke and Kinsey.
So Luke, Jesus. What kind of fucking... Okay, so Luke and Kinsey, oh boy. Hold on, give me a second. Hold on. Luke and Kinsey.
Yeah.
Kinsey's a survivor name. All right. Spoiler alert. But so Luke and Kinsey go into a neighbor's house trailer. Yeah, they're in a trailer park. So they go into one of the trailers that had the door open. They go in there. They lift up a sheet and they see somebody has been butchered. They go back to the house. They try to look for the parents. Like, where are we? I don't know where we're at. I don't know either. It's not my trailer park, you know. Parents come out of nowhere, find them. Oh, convenient enough. They found them. Well, as soon as they found the body, what happened? I see dead people. What happened? Are you guys joking? No, dead people in there. Kinsey goes with her mom back to the house, and then what's his name? Luke goes with his dad. His dad's like, yo, Luke, I'm your father. Let's go check that house out. See what I did there? Aha! Bada bing.
Ghostbusters.
So anyways, Luke and his dad, right? Luke and his fucking dad. I hate you, Barnabas. So Luke and his dad, Luke and his dad, for the 5th time, they're going to check out that house. But as this is all happening, Kinsey's with her mama at home, and somebody took all of their phones and broke all of their phones. That was a problem.
Because guess what? All right, actually, let me ask you this question that I'm going to ask you in the form of, in the form of a question, basically. Okay. All right. So, not a question as a question, but I was going to make a point as a question. I was going to make a point.
Okay, so
here's the question. Would you, Samael, if you were like in this weird ass trailer park area where apparently nobody was fucking there and all the lights are off and shit,
and which we don't know how to move around.
Exactly. Would you like leave your fucking trailer with all the lights on, the door unlocked, and all of your like cell phones in there?
Bruh, everybody's cell phone was on the table. Don't lie to me. Everyone nowadays' face is in their cell phones. You cannot lie to me. There is no way that can ever happen in 2018 unless they're like, family dinner, put your phones away.
Which is basically like what it was.
But that is not what happened.
Of course, they all leave, and they all leave their phones in there. Like, I get it. You're worried about your kids and stuff, but like, Jesus, take your fucking phone with you. You know? So there was that. So if you answered no to my question, then good. You would have survived The Strangers Pray at Night.
Yeah.
Okay.
All it would have took was one phone call to 911. That's what upsets me.
Yeah.
Is that there was like 4 cell phones. There were more than 4. There were like 6 cell phones.
Yeah.
Who got 2 phones? Is his dad trapping? Like.
Yeah. Right.
What?
Maybe
his mom's like an escort on the side. Like.
Yeah, it could be.
Jeez, man. But
I don't know.
All those broken phones on the table, and then we see. One of the killer ladies got into the house. Dun, dun, dun. It's the blonde one that was knocking on the door earlier in the movie. She comes knocking on the door. Is Tamra there? No Tamra here.
So that's kind of like the first movie, so it's a callback. So I liked that because it really is kind of following the same basic like story of how they get killed.
Right, but like the stupid shit that happened in this movie. Yo, let's all leave our cell phones at home.
Yeah.
Even though no one's without their cell phone nowadays. We're gonna leave the doors unlocked. We're gonna put every light in this motherfucking house is gonna be on.
Yeah.
Every light in this trailer is gonna be on.
Oh, I hope there are no psycho killers around.
Like you're in a trailer park. How safe do you feel?
Yeah, they're pretty weird places, bro. So that was one of the things. Like the movie is cliche
As fuck.
Yeah, cliche as fuck, especially with the fact that, of course, the whole white family, they're all a bunch of morons.
Yeah.
Like, seriously. That was one of my main things that I didn't like about it. One of my main criticisms.
Oh man, what we alluded to earlier as well. So seems like wherever these people went, the strangers were like right next to them.
Yeah.
So there's a scene where Luke and his dad were driving, and someone threw a cinder block at the windshield.
From out of nowhere.
From out of nowhere. How?
Like, first of all, you have to practice that shit.
Yeah, you can't
You
just...
know? Like, hey, Lucy, can you be driving in a car so I can perfect my cinder block aim?
Yeah,
like, what?
he was just hiding off to the side. Like, how did he know they were going to take that route? How?
They literally find them everywhere. So I have like a conspiracy theory that they're like somehow like some supernatural fucking people. Because how do they always know where they are? How does this dude throw a cinder block at a moving car at like 50 miles per hour and hit the fucking windshield?
Right. It could be supernatural. Maybe that's what they're kind of hinting at with the ending. Like, you know, they can't. One of them isn't dead. Apparently, allegedly, that was the end. But
I doubt it. But like
it kind of stems from like it could be satanic. The whole Manson thing. This is what it was loosely based off, the Manson murders, and we know that was a satanic cult. So obviously, maybe they had some sort of supernatural power. Maybe they were just crazy, and their adrenaline was keeping them going. But I don't know, man. It seems like everyone in this movie was like, yo, I want to die.
Yeah.
Let me take the steps to it.
Look, like, they always found them. You'd pop into, like, a random trailer, and they would just be, like, under the bed. Like, weren't you just across the fucking trailer park?
Yeah,
like,
man.
What?
Like, I hated that. And I also hated, like you mentioned earlier, the kill scenes were really anticlimactic.
They were not good.
I like that part, though, where the short one of the strangers with the black hair, she tried sneaking up on Luke, and he just whacked her with the golf club. Because it just came out of nowhere. It was like, she started running up behind him, and he was like,
He just turned around and swung at her face.
And then he just stabbed her to death.
Yeah.
And then the dude stranger came with the axe. He's like, I just killed one of yours. How do you feel?
Yeah.
Like, shut up. Just kill him. Like, and then he ended up getting stabbed up in a pool. Like, he lost his knife in the pool, and instead of grabbing his knife and then swimming away with it, he dropped the knife on the floor, and he's like, guess I'll try to swim away before I get stabbed.
Yeah.
And guess what? He got stabbed up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, but he did survive.
He survived.
Which was
in a coma.
interesting. Yeah, I thought he was going to die. And, like you just said, he killed one of them.
Yeah.
So, if you were thinking, oh, there's going to be like a third and fourth strangers, the same people, actually not the case. Because, spoiler alert, they all die in this one.
Yeah, they were all...
Supposedly.
They got flanked, man. Like,
the two chicks definitely died.
The blonde got screwed. Like, so we have your typical, hey, I'm here to help you. Police officer shows up. The person that's being chased, what's her name? Whitney? I don't know her name.
Kinsey, I think.
Kinsey, oh my God. Kinsey, why Kinsey? Why? So Kinsey's talking to a cop, and the blonde stranger comes up behind him and cuts his throat.
That was a shitty ass cop.
That was a crappy ass cop. Like, in every movie, a cop always shows up. What seems to be the problem? Yeah. Someone's trying to kill me. All right, if we could just... And then they get killed. Like,
and the chick, like, you had to have seen her coming up from your, like, peripheral vision.
Because she walked around them in a circle. Yeah. Like, she did a whole... Like, starting to the guy's left, she was to his left, which is the Kinsey's right, and she circled right behind... Like, she was, like... 45 degrees in front of him. Like, so in front of him to the left, and then she just goes behind him and cuts his throat. Like,
anyway, all this is alluding to is that there are some very unrealistic things here. And I know that for movies, you're supposed to kind of suspend your disbelief, you know, and all that kind of shit. But, like, come on. First of all, this was supposed to be kind of a realistic slasher, sort of, you know.
Besides the fact that, like, even when Kinsey went to go hide in, like, those... big tubes, like there was already one of them in there. Like,
right, exactly.
How's it
That's
going?
what I'm saying.
Are we kicking it? Like,
it's like, hey, just in case she goes into that giant tube, why don't you be in there to scare the shit out of her? Like, that's not how it works.
It was cliche. Yeah. It was corny, but this is one of those movies. It's not hopeless. It's like So let me fast forward. So at the end, Kinsey's in the hospital with her brother. He got like a tube in his mouth, and like he's on life support because he got stabbed in the kidney. I don't think it was that serious. It was.
I was bleeding out for a while.
He was bleeding out for a while, so he probably lost a lot of. Boy, I need to drink water. They got him on IV. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
But she's like, Kinsey's sitting there, and she's like, I don't know. She was just sitting there, literally, and then all of a sudden you hear a knock at the door. Knock, 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 just like the knock at their, trailer. And I think she dropped something. Like, what did she drop?
Yeah, like some water or something.
She dropped her water, and then the movie ends right there.
Yeah.
And it's like, hold on. Okay, unrealism in this movie. Let's talk about this, because me and Barnabas were talking about this earlier. So, there's a scene where she's in that police car, then the male stranger crashes into her, and he crashes into her again. She gets out the car, and for some reason, he's still, like, ramming into the car. Yeah. And he sees her pulling out a lighter, and she sees the gas on the floor, and she's like, and she throws the lighter at the floor, sets everything on fire. Like, both cars went, like, his whole pickup truck was on fire. All of a sudden, he starts driving toward her. Then they get to a bridge. He gets out, crawls after her, collapses. She starts asking these two people that drive by for help, and then they start running because the guy was behind her with an axe. I think it was an axe, right?
Yeah.
He starts swinging at her with the axe, and then their homage to the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 1974. She gets in the back of the pickup truck, the person starts driving, and he keeps, trying to attack her, right? And then she clobbers him with the baseball bat, and he falls off the, truck and dies. And then she starts laughing like a crazy laugh, like she's lost her mind. And she's so happy to have gotten away from him. The exact same thing that happened at the original 1974 Texas Chainsaw Massacre ending. So I applaud you guys for that.
That was a good homage. Actually, another thing that I think about now was there was actually, I think, an homage to Psycho, maybe sort of.
Because, the shower scene?
Not the shower scene, but...
Well, she got stabbed in the shower.
The main star of the film, which is Christina Hendricks, because honestly, she's the most well-known and marketable star in this film. The mom.
Okay.
Yep. She dies like half an hour or something into the movie in the bathroom. She gets stabbed. So maybe not a direct homage, and maybe they wouldn't even think about it. I don't know, but it seemed like an homage. You had Texas Chainsaw Massacre homage.
Yeah, or maybe those are like Easter eggs, like those two sequences, because I think The Strangers too. You know why I'm saying we are saying all this shit about this, the cliches, but that's what's missing from today's horror movies. Yeah. None of the cliches are there. Everyone's just like, they do everything right and they still die. That's what's wrong with horror movies nowadays. They do everything you would have done and they die. That's just like...
Well, these people didn't.
Yeah, these people did everything wrong. Their mom and dad died, but, they got out alive. So, you know what? I give this movie 2 horns up.
Yeah, it was good. There was a good 80s soundtrack.
The 80s soundtrack. The atmosphere. Retro. So it was always dark, the whole movie. That's what I liked. And the camera angles that they were taking.
Honestly,
and the way that they panned.
There was really good cinematography.
This movie has rewatch value, okay? Once this comes out on DVD, I'm going to buy it and I'm going to watch it again. Because the cinematography was great. Great atmosphere, like Bart alluded to just 15 seconds ago. The 80s type soundtrack. Yeah. That was good. That one shot was like really 80s when Luke was in the pool and he was about to get ran up on by the killer, and then he clobbered her real quick. That was really old school. I like their take on this movie. Bravo. Who's the director of this?
Yeah,
let me find this guy.
Johannes Roberts.
Good job, man. You incorporated everything that a slasher movie was supposed to have. Yeah. You had the really dumb people, 1. 2, you had the killers with knives and axes. Thank God you didn't give them power drills or shovels or guns. Thank you for that. It was like a true slasher. And the score, the cinematography, and the way you just applied everything all at once to give us this film. The corniness and the cliche is a classic part of the genre, and I don't think people get it. Yeah. If you watched Halloween, it's cliche too. Yeah. My friends are dying. Oh, there's a gravestone upstairs. Oh, here's the killer. I should run. I'm running. He's walking after me. All of that stuff. It's supposed to have this.
Even the characters, the son is kind of the studious, he's going to college. The daughter is
she's the fuck up.
She's the fuck up rebel.
She's smoking cigarettes but not inhaling them.
She's puffing them out.
She's fucking stupid. She's a stupid rebel.
Yeah, honestly, I thought it was good. Even the acting was like solid.
The acting was good. I just didn't like how like when the dad died, they made him cry like a fucking bitch.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly.
He was just like,
He had this like weird like
Please,
southern accent. I don't know if that's the
please.
actor's accent, but
please, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, you motherfucker! Like, and then the guy just stabs him with an ice pick. Like, what?
yeah. The strangers were like pretty good actors too. Even though that's something I like. They obviously have masks on, right?
Yep.
But they like were great actors, especially the baghead guy.
Like,
he was
because they
creepy.
didn't say much, but they brought character. Like, I like the one thing that was said when what was her name? Whitney.
Kinsey.
Kinsey. When Kinsey pulled out the shotgun on the blonde stranger and she asked her, "Why are you doing this?" And then she said, "Why not?" Like that was great, man. It's a great response. Like, oh, you fucking murder.
I think that's even better than the line they gave in The Strangers 1. Remember they asked and they
Yeah.
were like, because you were home. I don't know. That was really good.
Yeah, that was good,
But it's
but-
like, why not?
This one was
I
more
would have shot her
sadistic.
ass too. Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
man. There's one point Luke had an opportunity to shoot her, and like he just wouldn't do it. He's like, "Run! You have a revolver. Blow her head off. She just killed your parents. Like
Yeah.
these people just murdered your parents."
I don't know. I mean, I get. Obviously, I've never killed anybody. Spoiler alert. But of course, there's this like, internal struggle with Luke. Like, I don't want to kill somebody, which I totally get that. But listen, they just fucking murdered your parents like in front of your eyes, and like you could get a chance to shoot one of them, and you're just not gonna do it. Like, what the fuck? Seriously, you're disrespecting your parents.
And imagine, like, look, they killed everybody in that trailer park. Okay, imagine how many lives you will save.
Yeah,
if you just...
they saw their like aunt and uncle or whatever like butchered.
Yeah,
Like, seriously, you wouldn't do something about that?
like you just murdered like my dad and my mom,
My whole
and
fucking
then,
family
and
phase,
then
dude.
like their cousins. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Like,
So I don't know. That was kind of
I
unrealistic.
like the struggle that they had, that Luke had.
Yeah.
The internal struggle.
Yeah,
Characters don't really face that anymore. They always just like nowadays in horror movies they just go headstrong into a situation and they just die.
but that's good though, because he had that at first, and we were like going like, what the fuck, like shoot her, and then he ends up clobbering that one chick,
yeah,
and
then he
stabs her to death.
Bro, he stabbed her like so viciously. Like there was no dramatic music when he was stabbing her. It just literally sounded like knife going into flesh. It was just like cling, 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 cling. There wasn't much like noises, but it was just like.
But Kinsey was a G. She was just ready to kill.
She was
everybody.
ready to kill. The second she grabbed the shotgun, she shot that blonde stranger. She's like, boom! Why are you doing this? Why not? Blam, bitch!
If she said that to me too, I would have shot her ass too.
I would have been like, yo, why are you doing this? She would have been like, Geico said that they would give me discounts. Like, if you give me a good enough reason, I'll be like, fair enough.
All right, I get it.
I guess so. Guess I can let you go. Try picking up your intestines off the floor and walking away, though.
But let us know if you think the same thing. Is it better than The Strangers 1?
No.
I don't think
Nope.
so.
Nope.
The Strangers 1.
Nothing had come out like that at the time. After Strangers 1, then we had Wolves at the Door.
Yeah.
We had You're Next.
Mhm.
So we had a lot of like kind of copycat-ish movies.
Yeah.
So like when Strangers 2 comes along now, it's just like,
Yeah. I mean, they kind of did something different, but not really. The Strangers 1 just had that, like, had such a feeling of dread because it was so isolated, like,
and
they were isolated in
about it.
Strangers 2, but they were just in, like, a house in Strangers 1, and they literally couldn't leave or they were gonna fucking die.
And think about it too. This centered around like a whole family, right?
Yeah.
So there was gonna be like a decent body count, especially since they're in a trailer park. The first one, it was just the
Two
story
people.
was just two people. So
Yeah.
you're like, all right, either they're both gonna die, one's gonna die, or none of them's gonna die.
They introduced, like, one character, actually, from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't recall. I haven't seen The
Glenn-
Strangers since it came out in theaters.
Yeah, it was Glenn Howerton who plays Dennis.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's like, that's the same dude. He like gets shot with a shotgun and unintentionally by the chick, I think, or the guy.
Oh,
Like, later in the movie,
I
remember?
I think it was the chick who shot him.
I think so.
And that's
So that
what
was like the only,
Didn't she get like ambushed shortly after that?
yeah. But that was
I
like the
remember
only
correctly.
other person. Now it's you got
When did
like
that
four
come
people.
out? Like 05 or 03?
Yeah, around then. I don't remember
It
exactly.
was somewhere around then.
But
Unless it was 06 along with the death of the jar.
it was yeah, right.
the beginning of the death.
2008 actually.
Okay, so
It redeemed
Yeah.
in 2006 a little bit.
yeah, 2006. What were you doing, man?
Yeah, it was not good.
We don't like you, 2006. You're gonna have to sit over there.
So, but maybe not better than The Strangers one. Not maybe, definitely not better than The Strangers one. But it was still good.
It was a horror. It was a slasher.
Yeah.
But the kill scenes, like we alluded to, it sucked that the kill scenes were anticlimactic. They could have done a lot more with the kill scenes.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't really like it too much. But the acting, superb.
Yeah. It was
Two
good.
horns up.
Yeah.
Everything else, two horns up, man. Like, the cliches did it this time. Like, this movie was so cliche. Like, bro, how do you forget all your phones? Like, that's the
Yeah.
ultimate stupid. Like, that's perfect for a horror movie. Like, if you're all that stupid, that should be a horror movie. You should be getting... Not you personally, but if you're in a movie and you do something that stupid where you're in a place where you don't know, like,
Yeah.
you just leave all your phones, you should get butchered. Or at least, someone should try to butcher you.
I agree.
And why
Yeah.
not?
So there were a lot of good elements, and I'm gonna give my rating, and it might seem a little low based on like the good parts that we talked about, but I think it's fair. I give it a solid 7.5 out of 10.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah. Is that pretty much?
Yeah,
what you
your
give it?
rating system is more harsh. Me, it's either... Actually, mine is more harsh. Either, like, I like the movie or I don't.
Yeah, but if you had to give it an out of 10,
Out of 10... I would have just said 7. I would have been fine
Yeah?
with 7. I'm a little... Yeah, I guess I'm a little bit more harsh, but...
that's
don't get me
fair.
wrong. Like, the rating is average, but the movie is not. Like...
Yeah.
You should see The Strangers too. It's a fun movie.
Yeah,
It's a
it
fun
was.
movie.
If you like 80s movies, you'll like it.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. So that's our review of The Stranger's Parade. Now, we may have left some stuff out, but let us know what you think about it if you've went and seen it. Hopefully you have, because we just spoiled the whole fucking movie for
Yeah,
you.
seriously. If you
So
haven't seen, like, why are you here? Like, this is
Yeah.
to share our experiences with you guys. All right. If you haven't seen it, it's what are you doing here? Get on out. Get on out of here.
Yeah, I'm out of here.
Get on out of here.
So go check it out if you haven't. Let us know what you think. But yeah, it was good. So we're going to move on now to our final segment of the episode. And this is the chopping block. So this episode's chopping block is going to be about a film that came out pretty recently. It's not like brand new, but I think it's free. Maybe not free, but you can get it on Amazon Prime. Actually, it might be on Netflix. I don't think so, but anyway, it's Victor Crowley.
Yes, it just came out. It's the sequel to Hatchet 3, I believe.
Yeah, Hatchet 1, 2, and 3, because they kind of all have the same. Well, they don't have the same story, but they follow up.
Also,
each
there's
movie.
going to be some minor spoiler alerts.
Yeah.
Maybe major. Should we do major? Should we talk
No,
about
I think
it?
we should. I think we could do minor spoiler, because if they want to maybe go see it.
I mean, it's already out. I mean,
Yeah.
if you went to a store and you were like on the edge of buying it, like I
don't think
you
you
should wait until it's on Netflix
Like
or
for
Hulu.
free. Yeah.
Yes, because it was very anticlimactic. Spoiler alert: they spend most of the movie on a crashed plane,
In a plane. Yeah.
and that's where it also ends.
Yeah. Was not good. They didn't utilize, like, they had a swamp. It looked like
And they only used
they
like
didn't
one
use like any of the fucking
18,000th
swamp.
of
They
it.
just trapped everybody in a plane. Yeah.
And
It was-
spoiler alert, they could have saved the pregnant lady, but for some reason, the whole time they're just standing there talking, and she
Yeah.
ended up drowning.
honestly, the characters, I hated them.
I hated
Besides
all
the
the
besides the main dude who is actually the survivor from parts 1 to 3.
The Asian guy, yeah.
The Asian guy.
I liked him.
Yeah, he was good. They went way too much into like what he was doing and shit.
Yeah, everyone
like,
was
at the
calling
beginning
him
of the
a
movie.
phony. His ex-wife is... He's on his ex-wife's show where she's like,
Yeah.
some people think you're a murderer.
Yeah.
A lot of people think you're a murderer. Do you think you're going to burn in hell? Like, what?
Yeah, all that happened in like the first, I don't even know, like half hour, 45 minutes.
Seriously, they
with
wasted
him.
like the first
It should
half
have
of the
been
movie.
10 minutes, boom, done, go to the swamp, go to Victor Crowley.
No, they had to show, we're a film crew, we're filming
Yeah.
about this, we want to talk to him. And didn't they all get butchered besides the little mousy girl, remember?
Yeah, did the Asian dude die? I think he...
No, he's alive.
Yeah, I think so. He's alive. and one of the
tour guide,
girls.
the true hero, but a fucking moron.
Oh yeah,
Fucking idiot.
it was
We won't ruin the ending for you.
Yeah.
But he's fucking stupid.
yeah, he was.
He literally couldn't.
I didn't like his character at all.
I liked him because I usually like the douchebag characters. And not because like they bring anything charismatic to the scene. Don't get me wrong, but
I get that. He just wasn't interesting to me.
Yeah, he wasn't. There was like zero character development.
Yeah,
it's just
they were trying, but it wasn't.
They were trying to develop every single character on the plane. Like, yo, what would this person do in this scenario? All right, he's gonna do this. He's gonna do that. Like, it's like, bro, we just met these people, and like now we got to decide if we like them or not at like the very moment like where they might just die.
It was all just on the plane. Like, I don't know, it was dumb.
And they didn't show Victor enough, bro.
They didn't show him enough, but he was really the only good part about the movie for me personally.
Him was pretty.
Because Kane Hodder reprises his role as Victor Crowley. Kane Hodder can do no wrong if he's playing like a big monster dude.
Yeah,
honestly,
he can, bro. Since he became since the first time he was Jason in Part 7, like I really liked him as any type of like he played Ed Gein in the Ed Gein movie. Did you see, like,
I didn't see it.
It was like I think it came out in like 2009. He played Ed Gein, but Ed Gein was a small guy, and this he was like huge and like people were terrified of him and.
No, I would be terrified.
I'd be terrified
if it was Kane Hodder.
I'm not gonna fucking. If Kane Hodder's coming at me without the mask and machete, I'm not gonna fucking. I'm gonna shoot him in the legs.
Yeah.
Like
so, him as Victor Crowley. Honestly, for me, really the only good part about the movie.
We were just waiting though. The whole we were watching this movie a few weeks ago, and like the whole time we're just waiting for him to pop up. And then how did he even pop up? Like what happened? I think they read from a book or something.
Yeah, they were watching like a YouTube video about the curse.
Yeah, and it had like the curses, like the sound. The
basically
words.
the incantation.
Yeah, they were like Holy Bostolo Victor Crowley, and then he's just like blur.
Yeah. But they didn't show him enough at all. He was still like really menacing and freaky and scary and
he
shit.
He looked freakier than last time because he like. When he saw the Asian guy, he got mad as fuck. He's like, "Oh, I see you, motherfucker."
But just the character itself was like not as effective as part 1 or 2. So.
I don't think he even got 15 minutes on the screen.
Yeah, honestly,
I think maybe 15 minutes total.
That
not
might
even
be generous.
total, but like you seen like every scene he shows up for about a minute or less.
A minute or 2, something like that.
And like it all happens near the end of the movie.
Yeah, the kills were not nearly as memorable as the other movies too.
Not even close.
Like I can't even remember what one of the. Oh, I think I remember one with the hand. Remember? Don't tell him, but
yeah,
the hand and the cell phone. Yeah,
yep, I remember.
But
that.
it's not like I don't remember which hatchet it was, 1 or 2, with him like ripping the guy's face open in half,
tearing his neck
and
off
like
and shit.
Demolishing one dude's face with like the belt grinder or whatever, like the same. I don't know.
Yeah, this was just more like a shark jump.
Yeah,
I think it was a really sad attempt.
It was a money grab
to try to get like fans that actually really love the series.
Yeah,
the trilogy to actually go and spend their hard-earned money on this steaming pile of donkey shit.
I mean, we didn't spend our hard-earned money, but I was like, I really like Hatchet as a slasher. So
I did too.
That was me. I was like, wow, Victor Crowley, like this is a sequel. I really want to see it. Disappointing.
Yeah, I was
very disappointing.
I was mad. You ever watch a movie and then you feel like you have to watch 3 more just to make up for the fact that it just didn't even feel like a fucking movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, this was one of those.
You know what though? This was the same writer and director of actually the first 3 Hatchets, so I don't know why you fucked it up so badly, Adam Green.
Yeah, man, what the fuck happened? Hey,
because I like your other shit.
Let's have a sit down, a one-on-one.
I like Holliston. I liked Hatchets 1, 2, and 3. So I don't know what happened with Victor Crowley, but bro, it was not good. Maybe never fly on a plane again because that's obviously.
He plays Tommy Jarvis's voice on the Friday the 13th game.
The Tommy Jarvis tapes. I don't know what that is.
Who does that?
This guy, Adam Green.
Adam Green, okay, I didn't know. Okay, because I play Friday the 13th, the game. It's awesome. The Tommy Jarvis tapes, and Tommy Jarvis has a voice too, like in game. Like, so apparently he did that.
Apparently he also wrote Frozen, which I thought that was a good movie. So I don't know what happened with Victor Crowley. Maybe don't put any more planes in your movies because that seems to take up the whole
40
fucking
fucking minutes of the movie explaining about characters who are just gonna die 3 minutes as soon as the plane crashes.
I agree with that. So, no hard feelings, Adam Green.
Yeah, bro, we love your shit.
Because I love all your other shit, but Victor Crowley, that was a big flop, bro.
Yeah, it was like you pissed us off.
It could have been way better. I was expecting.
It could have been 100 times better, man.
I was expecting.
Why are you shark jumping?
Yeah, don't money grab, bro. Don't do it.
Like you that shouldn't even be part of like. Can you like come out in public and say that movie was non-canon? Can you please?
Yeah, I wish.
Can that be like a
Please.
different universe movie? And then can you make Hatchet 4 like for real?
Hatchet 5. Oh, Hatchet 4
It's gonna
for
be
real,
called
yeah.
Hatchet 4. This is gonna be one of those bullshit what if movies like Jeepers Creepers 3.
Yeah.
Well, that was a prequel, but we're gonna even skip that review altogether. Fuck Jeepers Creepers 3
Fuck
too.
Jeepers
Don't watch that
Creepers 3.
shit.
It's garbage.
It takes place between 1 and 2, so you know everyone's gonna fucking die already.
Yeah. And
I'm sorry for the cussing. I'm just so passionate about these movies, like, and I love good horror movies.
Yeah.
Like, I'm an Exorcist guy. I'm like a modern Conjuring guy. The old Possession, the new Possession, everything. So when you give me a steaming pile of horse shit, I'm gonna judge it as such. But I'm not gonna. I mean, I'm gonna ask you what happened, obviously. But I was kind of upset, man. Like, that's like, I don't know. I hope the same thing doesn't happen now, but. This might not happen because no offense to Adam Green, but this guy's a legend. Like we talked about a couple, I think the first episode. The Halloween sequel to the original 1978 is coming out this October.
Mm-hmm.
Carpenter, I don't think is looking to money grab because
I hope not.
he's not because it's like he had nothing to do with part 2, and none of the rest of the movies, right? So you could see he kind of was probably upset with the downfall of Halloween and the series and the toll it took. So like, cause he did not direct Halloween 2. I think Tommy Lee Wallace directed Halloween 2. I'm not sure. I don't
know. Tommy Lee Wallace was the same dude who did Fright Night and Fright Night Part 2, right?
I'm pretty sure.
I think so, yeah. Which, I mean, it was good.
Yeah.
But it wasn't John Carpenter, I don't think.
What's scary good?
I don't know.
See, Halloween 2018, Judy Greer and Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
And it's by Carpenter, so I'm very excited. Hopefully, man, we already lost Wes Craven.
Yeah.
So, like, I want Carpenter to come out with, like... Rick Rosenthal, that's who directed the second one. So he added this whole bullshit story that Michael was Laurie's brother and all that stuff. That was not part of the original script. He was just stalking a babysitter who dropped off the keys at his old house where he used to live after he broke out of a mental institution. So... Yeah, I hope Carpenter does it justice because, I mean, not that Hatchet was as big as Halloween.
Yeah.
We don't know if there's even... I don't think there's that big of a cult following for Hatchet, but still, people liked it. We liked it. And you just fucked it up. Like, no offense. Like, I don't...
Yeah.
We don't mean this, like, aggressively. Like, we just mean it, like, as fanboys.
Yeah,
like,
don't blacklist us, but we're just, giving a review.
Yeah, man. Like...
A recommendation, basically. But yeah, I mean, look, at the end, no spoilers, really, but there's... an obvious setup to Hatchet 5. Which is what all the Hatchet movies do, basically. One follows immediately after the other.
Because this movie just, like, ended so suddenly and with no explanation.
Yeah. And so that's obviously, I think, what's going to happen with Hatchet 5. But please, Adam Green, if you do Hatchet 5, make it good. Please redeem Victor Crowley, because...
Yeah, you made him look like a pussy in this
one, too.
Because it was... Not to spoil anything... I'll spoil one thing. I won't say how. He got one hitter quittered, bro.
Yeah.
You can't one hit Victor Crowley.
No. He always comes back.
He's equal to, if not greater, in strength than, like, Jason. They're both undead, like, come back to life, possessed type things.
But Victor Crowley is basically like a tangible spirit.
Yeah, exactly.
He's basically a demon.
So, yeah, I would call it that. So, you need to make a Hatchet 4, sir, and you need to stop dicking around with this money grab, because once you establish a great trilogy in the horror culture, you don't just throw all that out the window and everything that made these 3 movies great. Like, you made this one, you focused too much on the Asian guy at first, and then, like, there was little other character development other than the Asian guy. Everyone else was just minor characters that were going to be killed off 3 minutes as soon as that plane crashes and that stupid YouTube video plays that incantation.
Basically, I know it's not really the same, but kind of. You don't make a Halloween 3 or a Friday the 13th Part 5. Yeah. And I know you like that one kind of. But, I love it. But you know what I mean. You know what I mean, right? Like, you don't make that kind of shit.
No, man. Like,
so, just...
Because we were excited because we were trying to find this movie and we couldn't. And we thought it was out. And when we finally got a chance to watch it, like, man, I was shaking, okay? Because I was happy. I was like, yo, 2018 slasher... Let's see if this can catapult the slashers or if it's going to bring it back to the mud. We brought it back to the mud, man. Like,
yeah, literally it was like in the swamp.
Yeah, we brought it back to the mud. So, but thank God for Strangers, too. I'm glad that came out. Like I said, I rated it average, but I think it does good for the culture and, like, for those type of slasher movies where, like, there's a final girl and there's hope, man.
I agree.
In Victor Crowley, there was too much hope. Like, it was easy. Like, that's not how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
There's supposed to be some sort of struggle. There was...
Well, a lot of them did die, but it wasn't good.
It wasn't like a moral struggle that they had, though.
Yeah, they died because they were idiots.
Yeah, like,
they were like, hey, let's run out of the plane where this big giant monster is. Oh, look, I'm dying.
He's about to snap my neck and step on my severed head.
Yeah.
Thank God I'm not going to be alive to be stepped on. Like,
But it was just not... I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but it just wasn't memorable. And it was just too safe. Like,
I think we're going to, like... Me and Barnabas, we're gonna start like a horror movie Illuminati, right? That way, if a director like directs a shitty sequel, he will be banned from creating slashers in that category, and we're gonna hand his movie off to someone else. You have to sell your copyrights. If you join our slasher Illuminati, our horror Illuminati, you have to abide by the rules or off with your head. That's what we're gonna do. We need like a horror police, you know, someone to be like, yo, stop making these movies, bro. Stop these shitty attempts at cashing in. And by the way, New Saw was actually good. So that wasn't a shark jumping movie.
I haven't seen it.
I liked it. I saw it. Cool. You should take a look at it. But yeah, man, I don't know what else to say. Victor Crowley lacked depth. It didn't even have good cinematography. The atmosphere was just funny. Like, it was the whole movie was just a joke.
Oh, it was trying to be way too comedic. That's another thing.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
It wasn't funny. It was cringe funny.
It was cringe funny, and
cringe funny, not funny.
The movie was not deep at all. Like,
no.
And it wasn't simple.
Well, it doesn't have
That's
to be, but it was just. There was no thought put into it. I felt like there was no passion.
I felt like there was none either, because you finish watching that movie, it's like, imagine you buy a walnut and you crack open the shell and there's nothing inside.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. Like, I just bought a walnut, but I don't get a walnut.
Or it's like one of those pistachios that just permanently closed.
Yeah,
you can't get that shit out.
Or then when you finally do open it, there's no pistachio in it.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh.
So for our result, was this movie chopped?
Damn, is this going to be the first movie we're chopping?
I think so.
Chop.
Victor Crowley, you have been chopped.
Eliminated. Don't watch Victor Crowley.
Yeah.
If you want to be sad, if you want to feel empty, like you just walked out of an orphanage, you should watch Victor Crowley. That's how I felt. I felt like I walked out of an orphanage and a bunch of sad kids just looked at me.
But look, Adam Green, I have faith in you. I know you'll bounce back.
Hell yeah, man.
Don't grab money. Don't grab for money, okay? You made 3 great movies. You've done lots of other good shit for the horror community.
You know what I think he did? I think he purposely made this movie shitty because he knew it was going to go straight to Netflix, and a lot of people are on Netflix. They're going to watch it. He's going to cash in on that. But damn, bro, no one man, it's very sad. This is why we had to make this podcast, because I had to talk about it. Our movie reviews are also like a lot of subjective stuff. We have our opinions. But this is the thing. This is why we created this, so we could talk about this. The shark jumping is pissing me off.
Yeah, I agree. So that's the chopping block. We didn't do them in the beginning, but I want to lay down some horror news just to close off the episode for you guys.
Dun dun dun.
So there have been some pretty interesting announcements for some movies. First things first, probably the most recent thing you've heard of, if you keep up with horror culture, is the sequel to Rob Zombie's The Devil's Rejects.
Oh man, I'm excited about this one.
Yeah, it's called 3 from Hell, which already it's like, what?
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be just the same 3 people from The Devil's Rejects.
Because
I hope it's not a prequel. That's what I'm really...
I don't think so, but spoiler alert if you haven't seen The Devil's Rejects, which it was good, so why haven't you? I mean, they all die at the end.
Yeah.
Apparently, they all die. So, if the title is any indication, then we'll see some maybe supernatural shit. But it seems to star the same 3 people: Sid Haig, Bill Moseley, and then Sherry Moon Zombie. So I guess we'll see.
Right here in the article, they're hinting. They said Voorhees was human. Is it possible that 3 from Hell implies that the film will take a supernatural U-turn? I really hope so.
That would be
interesting.
Because
a bunch of crazy shit happens in these Rob Zombie movies. What was that one movie with the witches trying to get that lady?
Oh, Lords of Salem.
Lords of Salem. I really like that. This movie scared the shit out of me. No jump scares, but all atmosphere.
That was definitely more supernatural. But like House of a Thousand Corpses, which was part 1 for the Devil's Rejects trilogy now, it was weird as fuck. I mean, there was nothing like supernatural about it as far as I could kind of tell, but it definitely was very weird. So I wouldn't be surprised if Rob Zombie took a supernatural turn in 3 from Hell, but we'll see. Right now, I don't think that there's a release date for it, but it was announced to be filming finally, so we could probably expect it later this year.
I would say, I think if they just started talking about it, like if they just started going into the filming, I don't think this is going to be out till about 2020.
Really?
I would say 2020 or like late 2019.
I don't know. I think it could be late this year or sometime next year.
I really hope so because I really liked House of a Thousand Corpses. That scared the shit out of me. Dr. Satan! Yeah. That scared the fuck out of me. I don't know, just a bunch of murderous hillbillies. I mean, it's real. Like, it can happen. Yeah. Like, that's what's fucking terrifying about this movie.
So, next up, it's more of kind of a casting announcement, but there's a brand new movie coming out. It's actually it's a dark comedy, basically, but it's pretty much a horror film. It's titled Villains, from directors Dan Burke and Robert Olson. And actually, they both wrote a couple things, but they did The Stakelander, which was a sequel to Stake Land, which I don't know if you've seen that, Sam, but I liked it. I think it was a good vampire, like post-apocalyptic vampire movie.
No, I don't think I've seen it. I thought I saw it on. I'm not sure if it was Hulu or Netflix.
I think it's on Netflix.
It's not the DVD I have, is it? Remember that I got?
Yeah, it is. I think that's part 2 though. So you have to watch part 1 if you haven't seen part 1. But it was actually pretty good. It's like a post-apocalyptic like vampire movie. And but anyway, we're not talking about Stakeland, but it was good. But this one is called Villains. And I'm actually really excited about the casting announcements for this because you've got Bill Skarsgård, who was Pennywise in the new It.
Shit.
Creepy motherfucker.
Yeah, he's creepy.
So he's going to be good.
Hey, Bill Skarsgård, if you ever hear our podcast, man, you're a creepy guy, bro.
Yeah, you are creepy.
You are good choice going into horror films, man, because you fucking creep me out.
Because you know he can do that, like, cross-eyed shit in real life, right? Like, that wasn't... Yeah, I think... Because Pennywise was doing that in, like, the movie. He can do that in real life.
You're creepy, motherfucker.
He is creepy. And then we've got...
gonna be a legend, I can tell. He's gonna be
even just from It.
Yeah, but I think he's gonna... They need to cast him as the villain more. He needs to be in like a slasher.
And next we've got the co-star Micah Monroe. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her first name right, but it's something like that.
Micah, yeah.
From It Follows, which I loved. It Follows.
Of course you did.
I did, and I thought she did a really great job. So I'm excited about that. The synopsis is basically a pair of amateur criminals break into a suburban home and stumble upon a dark secret and 2 sadistic homeowners who will do anything to keep it from getting out.
See, that sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds good. And it says it's a dark comedy, so it should be funny too, you know? So I'm excited for it. I don't think
not
there's a
too
release
funny
date.
when they try to force the humor in these movies.
Yeah.
It kind of makes me...
Hopefully not.
Gives me the chills,
Hopefully
but
not.
in a cringy way.
Yeah. So we'll see about that one. I kind of want to go see it, and hopefully it's not forced funny. You know, hopefully it's actually good. But the casting is on point, so I think it'll be a good film. Finally, I wanted to talk about kind of a weird announcement, but remember Nicolas Cage?
Of course, who doesn't remember him?
Nicolas Cage apparently is starring in a new horror film, which he actually has before, The Vampire's Kiss. I think that's what it was called.
I think, yeah, that was it.
I think that's where that meme came from with, like, Nicolas Cage looking, like, crazy-eyed.
Yeah. And then it kind of is attributed to the rumors that Nicolas Cage himself is a vampire. They got photos of allegedly Nicolas Cage from, like, 1800s.
He probably is.
All these celebrities are probably vampires.
It's true.
We don't read, don't listen to us.
So Nicolas Cage is in a new horror movie called Mandy. And I don't know if there's a clip or what this says, but there's something about a chainsaw wielding Nicolas Cage. He's like covered in blood. He looks crazy.
You don't know if he's the hero or if he's the guy facing off against, if he's the antagonist.
So already it sounds crazy, but the synopsis on Bloody Disgusting says, set in 1983, Cage plays Red Miller, a broken and haunted man who hunts the unhinged religious sect who slaughtered the love of his life. I don't know. That sounds like a pretty good premise, honestly.
See, He seems like he's gonna be like the next Ash, huh?
Right. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, honestly,
The Punisher meets Ash.
yeah, the premise honestly
Meets
to me
National Treasure.
seems interesting. Right.
It does seem interesting. I'd like to see where they take this.
It currently maintains a perfect 100% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes.
Is this on Netflix?
No, it's not out yet.
Set in 1983.
Yeah.
That's what I like.
Mhm.
80s for the win.
Yeah. I hope it kind of has that feel too, you know.
I hope so.
But the film Mandy is supposed to be in theaters this summer, so be on the lookout for that. I want to go see it.
Yeah, I'm
because
down.
chainsaw wielding Nick Cage, like,
Yeah,
dang.
he usually like hunts treasures and he's like Ghost Rider and
Oh.
stuff. Like,
It's actually got a really cool poster too. So, yeah, honestly, it could have really good potential.
it has potential. I just
Honestly.
hope it does not too like actiony. I hope it's more like
Yeah,
fucked up horror.
Nick Cage is definitely one of those like weird actors where it's like I'm not sure if I should like Nick Cage's acting, but like he's in so many like classic movies, you know.
I like him.
He's crazy as fuck.
He is fucking crazy. He's probably crazy as shit in real life.
Yeah, probably. So, be on the lookout for Mandy. Be on the lookout for Villains. And what was the last thing? I'll be on the lookout for 3 from Hell.
Yes,
So,
I can't wait for that.
a couple really good horror
I'm still
announcements.
thinking about Ghost Stories right here.
Yeah, I'm really excited for Ghost Stories.
When was that? April 20th?
April 20th, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was soon.
So check that out too if you can.
Demon House soon.
Demon House apparently is getting rave reviews.
Really?
Yeah. That was that one, like the documentary, like
Yeah,
really
okay.
good documentary.
Yeah.
That's coming out actually, I think, this Friday.
We're gonna go see that, and we have to talk to you about it.
Yeah. So this episode might be coming out on Friday. So check it out and let us know what you think. But yeah, hopefully we can go see it and maybe do a review for the next episode.
Yes, can't wait for it. Can't wait for it.
Yes. So speaking of which, I believe that we are all out of time for this one.
Yep, that wraps it up.
Thank you again to everybody. Thanks to Sports Radio Detroit. Thank you to all our listeners. You got us over 100 downloads again on episode 2, so I
Yes.
really appreciate it.
2 weeks in a row, we got past 100. I'm happy.
Let's try to get to 200 this time.
As long as we're bringing those views into Sports Radio Detroit.
Yeah.
Mr. Castillo, thanks again, sir.
Yes. Shout outs.
And we will see you next week on Grave Discussions.
This has been an SRD production.